Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Men of Now podcast. We have a very kind of exciting episode and important episode, and it's going to be about can men and women be friends? Now, this topic has been thrown around a lot, so this is nothing new, but we are excited to share our take on it as maybe more younger guys who have recently, for some of us, gotten into our dating groove, and then for another here who's been more experienced in it. But we're going to have a lot of different perspectives today, and this topic actually came from our homie Derek. So Derek, thank you for joining us today, and it's good to see you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I like what you said there. Like, it's a topic that is not new. I think everyone's got a pretty consensus opinion on it now. But I think until you really understand all the whys behind it, then you don't really know exactly how girls can fit in your life or not fit in your life. So we are going to have some unique perspectives today, not just be like, no, you can't. That end of story. Like, there's going to be a little bit more gray space to it.
Cool. So, and actually, Derek, like if you want to take us away, because this was your idea, so really excited to hear what brought you to wanting to talk about this.
Yeah, I think I don't want to speak for Joel, but I know he was kind of telling me this was his college experience in a lot of ways too, where we kind of did get in the friend zone a lot back in college. And a lot of it was just having a wrong perception that you could take a route of like, I'll become her friend and I'll hear her out when she talks about her toxic boyfriends. And then she'll realize that I've been here, not toxic this whole time. And she'll come around just like they do in the movies, right? There's like a lot of movies where like the guy best friend hangs around and then all of a sudden the girl like realizes you've been here the whole time and that's how it ends, right? And the funny thing is like the audience roots for that to happen too. So
Mm.
part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it's not just like can you be friends with them where you hang out, like this is not good when you get it, like you can't be in a relationship and go like hang out one-on-one with your girl best friends, right? So like it does hinder you from getting in a relationship because like it's not going to be a healthy dynamic for girls to hang out with guy friends or guys to hang out with girlfriends when they get in a relationship. Very 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 few uh exceptions to this. And I think to start, if we want to just talk about like any kind of exceptions or any kind of benefits before we dive into like the negatives, I'll just start with like there is one girl best friend that I have now. She's married, and not girl best friend, but like close friend, I'll say.
Derek.
And career, yeah, she's my best friend. I'm gonna be her maid of honor, but man of honor. No, but yeah, but like career wise, we have a lot in line career wise. She's an entrepreneur as well, right? So like there is like this thing that we can talk about that it's unique, right? It's not just like yeah, we talk about drama or whatever, right? So like that can be like a way that it can last. And I think HUD's had a unique perspective that Joel was telling me. HUD's, is there a situation where you found maybe it was beneficial in the past that you did have girlfriends?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, there's plenty of different ways we can talk about this, and we'll hit certain things, I guess, one by one. I'm going to talk about my own experience with girlfriends. So essentially, when you guys are talking about getting friend zoned in college, well, I essentially had to friend zone myself in college. And now let me explain that. I had to do that for a very tactful reason. I was the social chair of my fraternity. And so I was in charge of organizing all of the parties and mixers, socials with the other sororities. And so you have to communicate with the social chair representative of that sorority. So obviously, if you try and make things sexual, or if you do something weird, like, you try and make a move and that's not there, then things go wrong. And then that sorority, all because you pissed off one girl, that sorority will not come over your house anymore. And we dealt with that plenty of times. Now, there were some social chairs that I would casually hook up with. One of them actually peed in my bed, so that was an interesting one. But
Classic.
did you guys not find that funny?
I saw it. Derek's like, yeah, that happened to me last night. Yeah.
I thought you had more to it.
No, but that's the thing is you have to understand the balance of the relationship. And so because I would like self friend zone myself with some of these girls, and I would be like more that like simpy type of guy, I'm doing it because the relationship is transactional in nature. Like, I need her to see me as a comfortable teddy bear, because then she's going to be comfortable coming over. And then by her coming over with her sorority, well, this is 60 girls to meet my 120 guys. You know what I mean? So that was definitely when I first kind of understood it in college, is that if you do it in a transactional way, and it's kind of like unspoken, it works. Even with the pandemic, when everything was locked down, I I matched with this girl on Hinge, and like when we talked, I could tell this was not going to go anywhere. So I actually self friend zoned myself, and I just wanted to get into her head, and understand like her experience with dating, her experience with the apps. This was when I was beginning my dating coaching, anyways. So getting that insight was very helpful. And so, dude, I would like be on the phone with her for like 3 hours some nights, and like everybody would like, if you would look on it on paper, complete simp, but I was doing it for a reason. And so that's kind of where I think that that like there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but the male female friendship, it usually is like transactional for a reason. I think that there's always a one person who's more sexually attracted to the other, which can cause problems. But as long as both parties kind of have it under control and there's a mutual understanding of why you guys are friends, then it can work out.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think what you pointed out on is that you realized that it was transactional. And that's something that it took me a long time to realize, that relationships are transactional. I grew up in the camp is that, okay, love is love and it conquers all. And it's like, whoa, whoa, Nelly. You are giving and you are receiving. That is the nature of a relationship. Our relationship here as guys, it's all transactional. Let's be honest. Like if we weren't giving each other anything in return, it would just be a waste of our time. So I really like how you realized that in college, and I never realized that. So when I was in college and high school especially, I was I did do it transactionally in high school because I was like, okay, if I can be friends with the hot girls, the other girls will like me and I'll have more social proof. The guys will like me more. And it did work. When I got into college though, and no one gave a shit anymore about that stuff, that's when it became hard, because then I really actually wanted to like date more, because I was like away from the house, I was away from my Catholic upbringing. And yeah, so very good points. I do want to share what kind of you were talking about, Huts, in the idea of friend zoning yourself. I think that's really clever. And actually, I think if you wouldn't have told me this the other day, I don't know if I would have done this. So there's a girl I met the other day, cold approaching. And let's see, how did it go? So basically, I said hi, like I did my opener. Are you behaving well? That's what I always I say. I copied it from Jaron. And she goes, yes, I'm working. And you, I said, good. I said, just finished a workout, very sore. Come by and give me a massage. She goes, thanks for the right. You are very nice. So in the past, I would have been like, oh my gosh, she said I'm very nice. She thinks I'm the nice guy. Fuck.
I
And
mean,
then, damn it, friend zone instantly. And I would have, well, like before realizing this, I would have been like, I would have tried to be your friend, like Hud said, and what like Derek, you've been talking about, trying to get in her pants in a covert way. So I said, soft hands mean big responsibility, because when we were, in person, I was like, touching her hands, and her hands were really soft. She goes, I completely agree. You sleep early, blah, 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 blah. She asked me a few questions, and she goes, excellent. You already have one more friend in the city. And I go, you Mexicans make good friends. Let's grab coffee sometime. And she goes, sure, I like coffee. I'm a good friend. I said, good friends, soft hands. So I basically friend zoned myself, but was making it flirty at the same time. And at the end of the text, we have a date Friday, and she goes, I send her the place, and she goes, I said, let's meet here at 3. And she goes, yes, it's a date. So that may have been her way of shit testing to see how I would like, if I was going to fold, if I was going to, get weird or stuff. But I just stayed to my frame, and it worked out. So friend zoning yourself can be a huge benefit. I love that.
Yeah, it puts the guard down on them. Like you're not aggressive anymore. So there's nothing for them to be like potentially worried about. And hell, dude, if you friend zone yourself with the right type of hot girl or something, she's got friends. So to gain access and comfortability with her friends to potentially have a relationship there.
It worked out for you because like you stayed in the friend zone for like 10 minutes though. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be like there for a long time and then come
Yeah.
out. And yeah, in college, there was like a lot of girls, like really good looking, lots of good looking friends, and they'd invite me out and I'd go out, and then but then they would be like, oh, that's Sam's friend, or that's whoever's friend. Like you get known to be like that girl's friend, right?
Ooh.
So like you're already like you get known as like the friend zoned guy, and it's very like their friends don't really like hit on you. Like you have to be very like you have to take the role and go, pursue them and everything. Like it can be difficult to get out of it, because like these girls aren't trying to ruin like your friendship with the girl, right? Like so you can't like you can get too identified as like he's just like the guy that comes and hangs out with us, like so you really gotta be careful of this. Like it's a fine line to walk. If you're just like if you're coming out every weekend with them, like you're friend zone to all of them. Now you're not like, oh, she's bringing out this hot friend that we can all hit on. Like they're like, oh yeah, that's our guy friend. Like you will quickly become the entire girl group's guy friend if you do not like make a move quickly and try to set that. I do think at the root of this too, for like this is probably more like guys earlier in life, is that you kind of want just like a girl's validation at all, right? Like until you've like gotten dating experience. Like the reason why you get friend zoned is you're like, I hung out with the girl, W, right? Like like did it. Like as long
Dude,
as
do you
that's a
remember?
W.
Think back. Think back. Do you remember your first hug from a girl? What an amazing experience.
You're right. Like count it. Like that's first base, I think. Yeah. So like as long as it's a W to get like just hang out with the girl at all, like that's why you're always gonna get friend zoned. Like as soon as like that is like you don't care, you don't need that, like that's really gonna be where you just never get in the friend zone, because like you won't keep accepting this term of hanging out and nothing ever coming from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that is that phase. The other thing I wanted to bring up too, though, is uh, like maybe like you have these girlfriends that you reach out to when you need dating advice, and I think this is actually a horrible idea that guys somehow get it in their mind that I'm struggling with women right now. I need a girl's perspective, and they call like one of their girlfriends that will hear them out, and you will get like the worst advice ever. And a lot of times why you'll keep doing this is because they might tell you what you want to hear. So like in my experience, like when you call a girl and you say like, hey, I like this girl, what should I do? The situation that they are going to picture in their mind is that you are the guy that they have high interest in. Like they don't know where your stance is with this girl. They don't know if like, she's giving you clear no signals and everything when you're like, yeah, should I do this nice gesture? And then the girl thinks, okay, if the guy that I have really high interest in right now did that gesture, would I like that? Yeah, I would like that. And like they don't take into account like which guy are you on their list, like because most of the other guys on their list, like if they did such things, would not work at all, right? So like the girls like to root for love. They watch these films and they're like, yeah, like end up with the nice guy. They watch Forrest Gump. They're like, yeah, Jenny, end up with Forrest. But it's like, that's not who you want, in reality. You just kind of like to root for that. So, you're very much not, they're never going to like teach you how to play your hand right. They're always going to tell you, yeah, give her the validation. Yeah, give her the attention. She'll love that. Right. But it's just like, this is not going to ultimately, be the right move. So I think, it's one thing to have girlfriends that you hang out with, but do not have girls that you call for dating and advice. And this includes, family members as well.
Yeah, I think that's great advice because you were spot on. Like women think when you ask them that question, I don't know what causes it, but it's always them thinking from their experience. Like they can't like take themselves out and think of things objectively as easily as maybe guys can. I think it's just the way we're wired. It's always them thinking like, okay, if I like this guy, like they're not asking the questions, well, like what's your relationship with her so far? Like what have your relationships been like so far as well? Like how are you approaching dating? They're just gonna they just speak from their own experience, and especially if they're speaking on a very specific topic like that, they're going to think about the guy that they get the tingles for.
Yes, dude. And God, probably the biggest, I think, maybe thing the RP space teaches is that women get off on the validation. So the issue is that it's not even, because you're giving them way more than they're giving you. Guys, it's like women getting, I don't know who said the analogy, but women getting validation is like us constantly getting blowjobs. That'd be awesome. And so we, like, obviously chicks aren't just gonna hang out with us and give us, I mean, unless we're seeing them. But so to just sit with them for an hour, 2 hours, and just hear them talk is like a chick coming over just to give you a 2 hour blowjob. It's like, bro. And I mean, to your point, Derek, they do not give, they give advice based on what they would tell their girlfriends. So I actually, I'm not gonna say who, but this girl offered a free dating coaching lesson for Hudson and I took it. I'm like, yeah, we'll see what's up. And I said, yeah, and she asked about my history and stuff, and I told her about, like, I have trauma and stuff. I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and she goes, well, I really think the best thing for you, Joel, is not to date at all until you really figure this stuff out. And I heard that. I'm like, that didn't sit right, because what I've learned is that as guys, we learn from experience, and we need to get that experience. That's the only way. So for her, and if she was coaching a woman, that'd be perfect advice. Don't go out, don't hoe around, preserve your, femininity, and then do all that inner work, and then go out into the dating market. But for a guy, terrible advice. Like I just said, I did not book her for another call.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys. We're doers, so like we need to do it to learn from it.
Yes. And girls are more attracted to us the more experience we have, and the more girls we sleep with. Like, and it's opposite for guys to women. The more girls the more guys a girl sleeps with, the more like we're like, eh.
Yeah, and this is why you can't ask for advice either, because the real move a lot of times, what you should make is one that they would be like, that would be mean, or like something like it sounds like you're playing a game. So for instance, my buddy was seeing this girl for a few months, and he kept trying to go exclusive with her and make it a relationship. She kept saying, like, no, we're just seeing each other. And then all of a sudden he had been talking to this other girl for months that was going to come out and see him and go to this concert. And he was just waiting. He's like, I'm not going to, until like I'm exclusive with this girl, like I'm not going to dismiss this other scenario, right? I'm going to, like, we're going to keep to the plan. And then all of a sudden, like he just, like, the day of this girl is like finally flying out to come and do this concert with him. So he tells the girl that will, like, not that does not want to become his girlfriend, just wants to keep it casual. He's like, so just so you know, like, this girl's coming out, since we're not exclusive, like, she's coming out and we're going to go to this concert. And then she completely turned. She's like, no, we're in a relationship, right? Like, she's like, no, we're dating. And now they're married. And what's funny is, like, if you ask her, was that a good idea that he did that he flew that other girl out? She'd say, no, I hated that. Right. But what it did was make you commit, like him showing, I have this other option right here. So if you're not going to commit to me, I'm just going to explore this other option. That was ultimately what got the commitment from her. So, if you ask her, she's not going to say, like, yeah, that was a good move of him. Like, she's going to be like, no, that was terrible. Like, I hated him. Right. But it's like, it's what ultimately did it. So, like, this is why, like, the right answer, like, they're not going to tell you it, because it might be you exercising your options is, until you're exclusive, is what you should be doing. And no girl's going to tell you to do that.
100 plus 100%, 200% on that right 200%. There. 200%. Yep. And Derek and I talk a lot about this behind the scenes, just kind of, that idea of taking women's advice, and, you got to be careful with it. And I have a sponsor right now in a love addiction support group, and she's a woman. So I think she's like 75 or something. And I have to be careful still, because, and it's interesting because we'll get into talks about this exact topic. And she said multiple times, she's like, Joel, I really appreciate you telling me this. Like, I've never thought about it, like, from this angle before. So, and she has a lifetime of experience. So that just says how set in mind many women will be for their whole lives on their ideas and what they think about love and stuff. And she's like, wow, I never realized, like, I got to start getting out there and and all that stuff, and that guys don't care about my career and stuff like that. So it's just been a cool experience, and because I think she's 75, she can hear that and like internalize it. What is your guys' experience with younger women when you try to tell them the truth of male female dynamics?
That's all I gotta say.
I,
It's
I've
yeah,
seen both scenarios. I've seen some that are pretty good and open to it. I think especially girls that have brothers have maybe had a little bit more insight into how hard it's been for their
Okay.
brother, so that they can relate to it a bit more. If they've been an only child or only have sisters, then they've kind of like have only ever worn the pink colored glasses and never have had to wear the blue, so they might not have as much experience.
Mm,
And I don't know. I think anyone with a level head will like eventually hear you out on it. But at the same time, a lot of them don't want to have to confront, whatever it is they, rather just kind of keep their way of thinking. So I agree with
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's situational, of course.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like I've worked with younger girls. I've worked with some older girls as well, single mothers, things like that.
mhm.
And they don't want to listen to the like. It's almost like you have to deliver the message in a certain way. That's how I'm gonna angle it. Because,
Yeah.
dude, I just watched the Fresh and Fit show when they were out with Pearl and Troy Francis a couple days ago.
Okay.
And honestly, like at the end, it just blew up. And I've seen Myron do this before, where he's the way he's delivering the message is just like aggressive and rude, and he doesn't understand that there needs to be emotion tied to it. Women need a certain emotion tied to it. They'll still listen to you. It's just you can't tell them directly. You have to tell them indirectly. So yes, it may take 3-5 times as long to convey the message, but it's the only way for them to like truly understand it. Us as guys, we can tell you like, oh, you're a fat loser, you need to get in the
Yeah.
gym. And it's like, yeah, I
Love
guess I
it.
kind of
Thank
am.
you. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't do that with women. It has to be modified. And
Mhm.
I find it fascinating because we really are. Men and women are wired so differently.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head there, man. It's covert versus overt. And my coach always says, like, Joel, you need to learn to speak womanese. Like that's your mission. And womanese is learning how to speak in the covert. It's tough because obviously as guys, that's why I like talking to you guys. And we've talked about this many times. You can just say, yo, what's up? Do this, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, boom, it's right there. But with women, you do got to speak a little differently. And I mean, I've lost ruined relationships because I've been too overt. Maybe I started off covert, but then I'm like, okay, we're dating now or whatever. I can be overt like I would with the boys. And yeah, like in the moment, she'll nod her head and she'll like be like, oh yeah, interested, and she'll look interested. But what it does is it kills all that mystery. She's like, wow, I figured this guy out without even having to try. So part of the covert is building that mystery.
Yeah, I agree, Huds. If you deliver it in a, you soften the blow a bit, then like that can be really necessary. Like only guys would see a YouTube video, be like, I need to get back in the gym. Oh, this one is why you're a lazy piece of shit. I'll watch that. And then love it. Be like, yeah, I am. Like, like they just like the directness there. So to wrap up here, let's talk about how to get out of the friend zone if there is such a way. Of course, you don't ever want to get in there in the first place is the best option. But
Mhm.
if there is a guy listening right now and he's like, all right, but I'm already there. What do I do? I'll start here. I think the first thing you got to realize is like, if you lose her as a friend, are you okay with that? So like in the case of like HUDs, like, yes, no, I have other benefits of our friendship, right? Then you can't really pull a direct move out of it without having some kind of loss. But if you're like, look, I really am not losing anything. Like I've just been hanging here for my chance eventually. So like I'm not losing anything. You do have to, it's kind of like an up or out, and you just got to be direct and just go right for it and know like either way, you're in the benefit. Like she says, no, I don't see you that way. Great. And then like moving on, right? And then maybe they could even eventually come around because like you set the standard, like I'm not just to be here anymore to just be your friend, right? Like you're just going to have an honest conversation, assuming that, you really, you have to see, like, there is no benefit to this friendship outside of, you know, if this would turn into a relationship or not, would be like, you know, the start of this though.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. You need to understand that by doing so, you could completely blow this up. And so you have to weigh, is it worth completely blowing this up? Like if I'm gaining more from the friendship, then maybe we don't have the conversation. But if you're okay with the possibility of everything changing, I mean, otherwise you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs and you're just going to be stuck on this person that has friend zoned you for God knows how long.
Yeah. I break it down into like it's abundance. So if some guy came to me and is like, yo, I'm in the friend zone, what do I do? The first thing I would say is go out there and develop yourself abundance. Because if you can go out there and swipe 10 girls and get 5 matches a day, or go do 10 approaches and get 5 numbers, you will have no problem just saying, okay, you know, like piss off. Like I don't want to be friends. And there'll be maybe a little disappointment, like, oh man, she was hot. Like I was, you know, in a perfect world, it would have been nice to see her. But you move on very quickly because you know, okay, it took me 3 minutes of a conversation to get her number. I can go spend 3 more minutes out of a 24-hour day and go find another one. And so it lessens that need for her validation anymore. And really too, it's learning to respect yourself and just have like watching these podcasts, watching other videos that talk about this, you just start to learn it's just not cool. It's just not the guy you just don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the friend zone guy. And so to your own pride, you'll start to work through to get out of it. That's what happened to me.
Right.
Nice. I think if we're good to wrap up here, I have like one more point. Otherwise, like, is there anything else that you guys think we need to talk about?
I got one. So,
Okay.
So,
Ooh.
what in a relationship are you comfortable with your girlfriend having guy friends?
Not
Ooh.
to go hang out with them. Certainly
Okay.
not.
Now, what if he's gay?
More
Yeah, that's fine.
acceptable.
Well,
Hey, all the-
that's my question, is because I don't think it's acceptable for, but I don't know. See, because like then I kind of feel like I'm a hypocrite on it, because like I do have some friends that are girls that like I mean, if I wasn't in a relationship, maybe I would sleep with them here and there. I don't know, but I do have friends that are girls, but I don't feel comfortable with like my girl having friends that are guys. With my girlfriend, she does have a gay best friend, and I've met him plenty of times, and he's a funny guy, and I'm not threatened by that. So to me, like at least at first, it was a little weird, but I kind of deem that as acceptable. But again, I feel like you need to like sniff it out yourself, like because you never know, like who knows, they could be putting on the gay front because they're so deep in the friend zone and they figure that they will finally get out at some point. Like who knows? So it's good to sniff that out. But otherwise, I don't know, man. I don't trust guys. I don't trust guys at all with it when it comes to that.
Oh, dude, we're so sexually charged that I'm in that camp. Like I am totally not okay with a chick that I'm seeing other guys, like because of that. What we talked about earlier is that women get their validation, gives them like a supercharge. Like that's what they get high off of. If they get high off that and they're dating you, but they need it from other guys, that's a big red flag. It's like, hey, you're dating me. I'm the guy. I should be enough. And if not, let me know, and we can go separate ways. But I want a girl that, you know, I'm her man. She doesn't need other men. Now, I really like where this is leading, because one point that we wanted to bring up too is that, you know, how about like couples, right? So if you have like Huds, you have a girlfriend. I think it's totally okay if you're out with a couple and the guy and the girl are talking as friends in that couple setting, right? I think that's totally fine, right? Because there's boundaries. So the key of this is boundaries. If they're talking afterwards, it's like, oh, who are you texting? Oh, I'm texting Sarah's boyfriend from. It's like, what the fuck? Like, that's just weird as shit. So that's like a no-no. But I think it's okay if you have, if your girlfriend has a guy friend in a couple setting.
Yeah, I agree with you, because there have been some times where guy friends or acquaintances or whatever will have like reached out to my girl about something. Typically, it seems somewhat harmless, but there are times where it's a little weird, and she always brings it to my attention first instead of responding or whatever. Like, instead of not saying anything, she brings it to my attention first. And I think that that's just like, as men, if we go back to like biblical times and how we've kind of understood male female, like, we are the protectors and we're supposed to protect them. And so yeah, I really think it's that couple situation, and then when it bleeds out of that, then yeah, like, if you need to talk to him or he needs to talk to you about something, it comes through me.
Amen. Because you are the leader of the relationship, you, the man. I love that.
Right.
And that's such a powerful just mindset to have. Like, hey, these are the boundaries of this relationship. And as a guy, you should be setting them. I think that's a very important thing. And it's hard. Like, I'm not going to say it's like easy to do, because when you really like them and you're like, if you've come from the blue pill background, it can be difficult to have that conversation. But the more I watch and consume content from guys that I really value, the more I hang out with guys like yourselves, who embody those masculine principles, they all are just like, dude, if you're gonna get in an exclusive relationship with a woman, which is a big deal, to be honest, because as guys we should be playing the field, you got to be the one that say, hey, this is what's happening in this relationship. If I'm gonna sacrifice my fun for you, for this one person, you're gonna follow these rules, or else it's over.
I think, yeah, it's difficult to set this standard, but I think you don't want to do it in an ultimatum fashion or with anger or any kind of emotion tied to it. It's just saying, hey, like, if we're going to be in a committed relationship, this is what I would do. Like, hey, we could still have fun if you're not okay with this. Like, you almost give them like the two options. You don't just say like, hey, it's like, this is how it has to be, because then it's just like, it's an unfair pressure. And even if they go with it, they're going to feel like you cornered them. So you can just be like, hey, like, we can have fun. Like, if you want to have guy friends, like, that's totally fine. I don't think like I'll be like fully committed to you or exclusive with you in that case. So just so you know, like, that would be a standard that I would have, like, for someone I'm going to be exclusive with, then I would not appreciate you go hanging out with them one-on-one, right? This is all situational, is why it's difficult to give like this advice so generally. So like, there's one thing, like, yeah, like, I work with him, he had to call me to talk about work, right? Or like, there's this girl at work that's been bugging us, so we just wanted to talk about it real quick for 7 minutes on the phone, and this doesn't happen often, right? Like, there's like so much gray space. And I would say that I'm friends with like my guy friends, like, wives and their and their partners, and they know that I would never, like, even if they broke up, I would never hit on any of them. I like, they're all like friend zone to me permanently, even if my guy best friends would break up with them. So you also like need to keep friends around you that would be this way, that they're not like guys that are just waiting around to hit on your girl if things don't work. Like, that's not it. That's on you for keeping guys like that in your life. But in those cases, my guy friends know that, like, I would, if I was out with their girlfriends or wives and they weren't there and like something happened, like, I would step in and protect them like the same way, like, as if my best friend was there, to do so. So like, there is like friendship levels that exist here, but it's pretty obvious when, guys have always been that friend at some point in their life where they were like, they knew they were just waiting in the back burner, and like, guys can see it very obviously. So if your girl is refusing to acknowledge, no, he knows he's just a friend, right? Like, there's that thing on TikTok where they do like, okay, call him then and see if he wants to hook up tonight. And like, the guy's always like, okay, right? Like, so like, I don't know, maybe you have her do that and be like, what would he say if you did this?
Question for you, Derek.
Yeah.
Why though would you want to even spend time with another man's wife? Like, what value?
When I'm with them, like, if I'm with them, then I'm going to have a conversation with them, but I'm not going to like text them outside of it.
Dude, I would totally, with somebody else's wife, like, I would totally hang out with her if she's like helping me maybe shop for my wife or girlfriend. Like, if she can help with something like that, I think that's acceptable. But I find it interesting, like, as D'Angelo is saying here, I just don't trust guy friends. I just know how guys think. And even if it may not seem harmful on the surface now, seeds are being planted if something bad happens in the long term. And that is the truth. I was just looking at the study the other day, again, of refreshing myself, that 70% of married women have a backup plan in case it doesn't work out. That is married, happily married. Like, what?
That sounds
Like,
low to me. I bet it's higher than that. It's like 90.
I don't know. 70 is pretty high, but it's crazy and it's true.
Yeah.
So when you allow this to happen, like, I don't know, maybe you guys come across something in that marriage. I mean, again, we talk about the 7-year itch, things like that. Maybe there is a hurdle that you guys have to face, and she just doesn't want to do it anymore. And throughout these past, I don't know, 10 years, all these different seeds were planted. So she may go try and see what those trees look like now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that oak that was once a sapling is now a mighty tree with a business and a Maserati. Interesting.
And shout out to you, D'Angelo. That's the truth. Finding honorable men, it's hard. It's extremely difficult, but that's why we
Yeah.
have the community. And dude, I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate all these guys.
Absolutely, D. Great to see you again. We had a call last night that was awesome, and we just chatted up for an hour or so. So, guys, if you do want to join the community and be a part of that call every week, hop in the community, and we can, we'll get to know you and be able to talk about all this stuff on a way deeper level. And coming back to Derek, the way you said that ultimatum, that's how you say it, guys. Like, I said it to you guys in that harsh tone because we're talking to the boys here, right? So we can do that with the guys. You can say, bro, don't fuck around. But I really appreciate you, Derek, kind of bringing it back to actually how you do it, because that's missed a lot in this space. So a lot of guys will be like, oh, okay, I heard this guy on the YouTube say it just like this, so I'm going to say it just like this, and then it just blows up. So the way Derek said it is the way to do it. You say it calmly, you say it out of love and compassion, and that has the best effect. So
it's not setting an ultimatum, it's giving her choice. So she can either choose to abide by the boundaries or not, but there are consequences to them. So ultimatums is the biggest risk you can have. And as you said, the way that the guys say it online a lot, it comes across like an ultimatum, and you don't want to be doing that.
Okay. Choice versus ultimatum. Oh, that's it.
And that you're okay if whichever one she chooses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It might sting, but you're gonna survive.
Yeah, deep down, you're like you're dying inside, but you're like, yeah, it's
No.
cool with me, whatever one.
You just got like a knife. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, great topic choice, Derek. I mean, this is a good one, and I really appreciate this conversation and getting to bounce these ideas off you.
I would love to say to the audience too, because as Derek was saying, it's hard because we're talking about something a little bit more abstract and it's very situational. So if any of you guys like have questions on this, or you're experiencing it yourself, like definitely comment below, reach out to us. Like I would love to do like a case study on somebody and give you the exact advice that you may need in this situation.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Like, we got Philly's best dating coach here. I mean, let's talk about access. So and I think, kind of trying to wrap this up here, I think the big thing is, like, guys, if you become the best, most masculine version of yourself and you start to understand these things, get out there, be seeing lots of women, you won't deal with these issues, because the people that attract these kind of situations in their life are guys that are still kind of plugged in, you could say. And I'm speaking from experience. I didn't know. And so I behaved in the way that you don't behave as a man. And now that I'm learning this stuff, it's like, it's just like, no fucking way am I going to tolerate that. Like,
Yeah,
it just ain't happening. Like, nah.
yeah,
You can
this
say that
does
confidently.
become a non-issue. I think it really is. Like, once you don't need I need a girl's validation at all, like, this won't happen anymore, right? Like, so
And if you really do, call your mom. She'll give you all the validation.
Just don't ask for advice on dating.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh
Just be
my
sweet to
god.
her.
Mom
Send her
advice on
flowers.
dating? Get out of here. Jesus, that is the
Yeah.
worst. That is worse than any other girl. They always give you like the absolute opposite. Well, maybe it's good, because if they're giving you the opposite, then you can reverse engineer it.
Yeah. The problem is that a lot of times it's the advice that you want to like take. You're like, yeah, like try harder,
Yeah.
pursue, like you want to take it. So it's like, it's not good. So for that reason, like, I would say, don't even like, it's not just about not asking for advice, but until you're like a few dates in with someone, like, don't even really share anything about how the dates are going or whatever, because the advice is just naturally going to come from a parent. Like, that's what they do, right? So like, just don't overshare anything that's early on. Don't share. Like I just started talking to this girl, like because then now your mom's like, did you talk to that girl? Yeah. Oh, why not? Like, it's just like advice will come no matter what. If they know too much. So you really gotta,
be
keep
careful.
it quiet for a while.
Someone's watching the stream. They're like, Huds told me to do the opposite. My mom said, don't slap her. So
I'm wondering why that would be a statement that the mom would bring up in a conversation.
Yeah. What is this conversation?
Honey, I know.
All right, we need to end it now. But yeah, RIGs are on the top. My YouTube is Derek Vidal. I know Sobriety University. That's your YouTube. Is your YouTube Huds, Philly's best dating coach? Is that your YouTube?
No, my YouTube is at the Hudsman as well. So
Okay.
at the Hudsman on IG, at the Hudsman on YouTube.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Adios, boys.